Whenever I've been in a conversation about people's favourite video game sequences, a few were invariably brought up. The ashtray maze, all gillied up, effect and cause. They're deservedly remembered for the spectacle or mechanics at play, but the one that really sticks with me is a riot moment at the end of Assassin's Creed Revelations. Instead of an epic boss fight testing all the skills you've learned over the course of the game, it's a few simple prompts and cutscenes. But years after I first played the game, it still affects me in a way almost nothing has since. To explain why it works, I need to start with Desmond Miles. The story that serves as a framing device for the Assassin's Creed games is pure sci-fi. We play as a seemingly average Brooklyn bartender named Desmond Miles. He's been kidnapped by the Abstergo Corporation and placed into a machine named the Animus to relive the memories of. Somewhere within them is important information Abstergo wants. What that is and why they want it is revealed slowly over the course of the game. When Y2K failed to end the world, pop culture put its predictions for global disaster back a few years, 2012 specifically, the end of the Mayan calendar. In Assassin's Creed, this is manifested as the Ezio, a precursor race who created humans to be slaves before their civilization was wiped out by a solar flare. This story conceit serves as a production line for MacGuffins that drive the plot of each game forward. Each of the ancestors has had contact with an Ezio artifact, which both the Templars and Assassins are searching for to further their own plans for humanity. The Templars believe humanity's survival requires control. The Assassins believe in absolute freedom. It begins with what seems to be a standard video game tutorial, walking a character around a courtyard, but things immediately start malfunctioning. Voices are heard from off-screen, and the entire simulation breaks down.
We've got a problem. I can't anchor him to the memory. Too much psychological trauma. He's rejecting the treatment, retreating.
The game regularly reminds us that the Crusades are a construct via Brechtian alienation devices. On-screen glitches during cutscenes remind us to press a button that changes the camera angle. Control buttons are mapped to represent parts of Altair's body for what the game calls puppeteering. Every few hours the story comes to a dead halt when Desmond's pulled from the Animus and sent to bed. The assertion by the game's producer Patrice Désilets that this is not a historical game, it's a sci-fi universe in which you play in a historical setting, explains some of the more frustrating aspects of the gameplay. The player's first instinct with an open world game might be to play it like an RPG. Assassin's Creed actively de-incentivizes you from doing so. Optional objectives promote correct play. Giant grey walls warn this area is not available yet. Lose track of a target or come second in a race? Start again. Desmond Miles is effectively speedrunning his ancestors' memories. This is meant to get us to identify and sympathise with him. There's just one problem. Desmond Miles, frankly, sucks. As players we often accept underwritten lead characters, at least in first-person games. Gordon Freeman and the Master Chief are just vessels for us to fill. Mute avatars we steer from one objective to the next, shooting anything that gets in our way, and then put back in storage until next time. One of the reasons Doom 2016 works so well is because it plays with this convention. The Doomslayer is defrosted and immediately disregards the story to just kill anything in his way, but in the end even he's put back in storage. When Assassin's Creed changes its view of Desmond from first to third person, our expectations change with it. We see him through security cameras with a heavy grain filter. The character is no longer an extension of us the player, he's a separate entity. Desmond Miles is designed from the Xbox 360 standard character template, and despite Nolan North's best efforts,
saved my life? You kidnapped me! You strapped me into that thing!
He has the personality and charisma of cottage cheese. Even the Gears of War series has had more success in giving an inner life to its protagonist, the man-shaped beef slab Marcus Phoenix.
Shit.
The game opens by spoiling a large plot twist in an early scene. Desmond Miles isn't an average nobody.
Don't play coy with me. There isn't time. You're an assassin. And whether you realize it or not, you've got something that my employers want. Locked away in that head of yours.
But I'm not an assassin. Not anymore.
As a result, it becomes difficult to sympathise with him being so passive when Altair is demonstrating what an assassin can actually do. He never really evolves as a character. His backstory is fleshed out in an entirely optional part of Revelations, the fourth game in the series. Even if you do choose to complete the tedious first-person platforming sections, it does little to bring depth to the character, and it's far too late to care.
The morning bell. God, I hated that. Ringing 5 days a week just before dawn. Up before the birds. Me and the other kids.
Come on, Desmond, get up. No lagging.
Desmond's story is brought to a premature close at the end of Assassin's Creed 3 when he's suddenly killed off. After being rescued from the Templars, he's manipulated by the Ezio into killing one of the assassins. He has to choose whether to let mankind face another apocalyptic solar flare, or sacrifice himself to start an ancient Ezio machine which will deflect it.
If you heed Minerva, the sun will have its way. The ground will crack and spit fire into the skies. All the world will burn.
It ends a story that was originally planned to have Desmond learn all of his ancestors' skills and become the ultimate assassin, and it leaves the Templars free to continue as antagonists for the series. Imagine Luke Skywalker leaving the family farm, learning to be a Jedi, and then destroying the Death Star by kamikaze diving his X-Wing into it, ending with the Empire still standing. That'd be the Desmond Miles version. His hero's journey is cut short by Ubisoft's need for an ongoing franchise. Altair's story begins when his overconfidence leads to a brother assassin's death. Their master, Al-Mualim, strips him of his rank and weapons. This scene always reminds me of the cop movie cliché of the captain demanding the detective's badge and gun before telling him he's off the case. Altair's penance is a hit list throughout 3 cities.
9 men who need to die. They are plague bringers, war makers. Their power and influence corrupts the land and ensures the crusades continue. You will find them. Kill them.
His weapons and status gradually return to him along the way. It's a simple but clever setup for standard video game progression. His missions are all part of a search for the Ezio artifact known as the Apple of Eden.
How does it work?
He who holds it commands the hearts and minds of whoever looks on it. Whoever tastes of it, as they say.
When Altair retrieves it and brings it to Al-Mualim, the Assassin Master is immediately corrupted by its power, leading to the final boss fight of the game. Once he's defeated, the apple shows Altair a projection of the globe revealing the locations of the other Ezio artifacts. To say his ending is also abrupt would be an understatement. It's not a cliffhanger to be resolved in the next game. Altair has served his purpose, and Desmond is immediately pulled from the Animus. He sees a mysterious set of symbols in his quarters.
Is that blood? The hell were they keeping here before me? And what happened to him? What does it mean, I wonder?
And that's it. Roll credits. The storytelling in the first game is pretty weak, but it's improved significantly when the setting changes to the Renaissance, and we're introduced to our next ancestor. We're first introduced to Ezio with an even more bizarre tutorial than the first game, as a newborn baby.
Combatti.
We then flash forward to a teenage Ezio about to get in a street fight for sleeping with another guy's sister. He is, basically, kind of a douchebag.
Your sister seemed quite satisfied with the handling I gave her earlier.
But after Desmond's blandness and Altair's blank slate, it's a welcome change. The early story sets up a pretty standard revenge plot. Ezio's father is a successful banker and also secretly an assassin. The Templars, including real-life figures Rodrigo Borgia and Francesco de Pazzi, have him and 2 of his sons arrested and executed. Ezio and his surviving family escape, taking refuge with an estranged uncle.
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario!
After a brief training period, he returns to Florence to exact vengeance.
The Auditore are not dead! I'm still here! Me! Ezio! Ezio Auditore!
His story is resolved surprisingly early on, with de Pazzi killed in historically accurate fashion. Rodrigo Borgia is then revealed as the true villain, and the story turns to Ezio's training as a fully fledged assassin. As well as an origin story, Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood could essentially be read as a James Bond movie. Ezio is Bond, obviously. Sharp dresser, secret mission, away with the ladies. Leonardo da Vinci's Q, always handy with a new gadget. The reveal of Niccolo Machiavelli as the head of intelligence provides our version of M. If the assassins are MI6, the Templars are Spectre, which makes Rodrigo Borgia our version of Blofeld.
What a mess.
All we need is a headstrong love interest. And there's Katerina Sforza. It's when the series gets to Revelations, the last in the Ezio trilogy, that the story is at its best. An older Ezio, now Master Assassin, leaves Italy for Masyaf. He finds the abandoned assassin's fortress, though the Templars have beaten him to it. Following a vision of Altair, he faces a locked door in the lower levels. The trail then leads to Constantinople, and another tale of a ruling family scheming against each other. After retrieving the keys, he returns to Masyaf, opens the door, and finds the Apple of Eden locked away. On doing so, he realises that this discovery is not meant for him. He's been used, not for the first time, to track down an Ezio artifact for Desmond and the assassins in our present day, and the game jumps back to Desmond. No climactic boss fight this time, no tangible reward, Ezio's story is unresolved. This isn't how games are supposed to end. The chapter covering the trilogy in Cameron Kunzelman's book Everything is Permitted is titled Ezio Auditore's Tragic Open World. He writes, "It is difficult for me to ignore the tragic circumstances that underwrite his entire journey. Ezio exists as a delimited set of experiences for Desmond and us to play through in order to achieve goals that he has no awareness of. He passes from the world of gameplay, used up." I can certainly understand this point of view. Over 30 years have passed over the course of the story, and what has he achieved? The Templars may have been set back, but they're far from defeated. As satisfying as it may have been in the moment to beat the living shit out of Rodrigo Borgia.
You can't! It's my destiny! Mine! I am the prophet! You never were.
We were ultimately denied vengeance. Has Ezio also just been a puppet, the same as Desmond? I have a more optimistic view, because Ezio doesn't return to Masyaf alone. There are multiple parallel storylines throughout Revelations. In the cutscene of Ezio's arrival in Constantinople, he meets 3 people, all of whom will be pivotal. The first is Prince Suleiman, later Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Yusuf, the exuberant leader of Constantinople's assassins, and Sofia Sartor, a Venetian bookseller. The assassin's story is the usual Assassins v Templars, as Ezio and Yusuf discover Prince Suleiman's uncle is the leader of the Byzantine Templars. Ezio's story with Sophia is the one centred on the Masyaf keys he needs to unlock the underground vault. Ezio must find diaries belonging to Marco Polo, which Sophia translates to reveal the locations of the Masyaf keys. Each key, in turn, shows Ezio visions of Altair. The playable Altair flashbacks take place over 30 years, starting before the first game. They're relatively short, but show much more of Altair as a character than the first game, and his story really is a tragic one.
You too were born into this order. Do you regret it?
How can I regret the only life I've ever known?
Following the death of Al-Mulem, his fellow assassin Abbas becomes increasingly distrustful and jealous of Altair's possession of the Apple of Eden. He casts Altair out, later murdering his eldest son and his wife.
Strength. Altair.
As the story progresses, Ezio spends more time with Sophia and we see more of the man rather than the assassin. Eventually the two stories merge as Ezio briefly leaves Constantinople for Cappadocia, an island with an underground city, where the Templars are keeping the last Masyaf key and are trading for a store of guns and ammunition to be sent back to Constantinople.
The rifles you brought, they should be destroyed.
Most of them don't actually work, but the gunpowder is real. We could not fake that.
Bene.
Ezio sabotages the gunpowder. In the ensuing explosion, the entire city is seemingly burned down, while Ezio makes his escape with the key. This key shows a memory of Altair's return to Masyaf decades later to save a brotherhood now corrupted and cruel under Abbas's leadership. He uses the Apple of Eden and the remaining loyal assassins to defeat Abbas.
An old man, and still he fought to hold our brotherhood together. I would have called him stubborn in my youth, but now I can only admire his courage. The assassins were his life, from beginning to end.
When Ezio returns to Masyaf, Sophia accompanies him. They walk to the now abandoned stronghold.
Do you regret your decision to live as an assassin for so long?
I do not remember making that decision. This life, it chose me. For 3 decades, I have served the memory of my father and my brothers, and fought for those who have suffered the pain of injustice. I do not regret those years, but it is time to live for myself and let them go. Let go of all of this.
Then let go. You will not fall far.
When he unlocks the door, he finds the body of Altair sitting holding another key, seemingly waiting for him. This unlocks a final memory of an elderly Altair bidding farewell to his son as the assassins finally leave Masyaf. Kunzelman observes Altair's life is defined by the assassins and is overwhelmed and shattered by them. But that's not what I see in this scene. An Altair bent but unbroken.
Go, son. Go be with your family. And live well.
All that is good in me began with you, Father.
He makes his own choice to stay behind and pass the final key along. Despite all the pain and loss he experiences, he remains faithful to the Brotherhood until his last breath. We get a prompt to rest. The camera returns us to Ezio. He discovers the apple and calls out to Desmond.
No. You will stay here. I have seen enough for one life. Desmond?
He's talking to me?
I heard your name once before, Desmond. A long time ago. And now it lingers in my mind, like an image from an old dream. I do not know where you are, or by what means you can hear me. But I know you are listening.
Ezio has fulfilled his responsibilities, both witness to the past and messenger to the future. His family have been avenged. The Brotherhood will continue without him. He's finally earned the right to live for himself and his own happiness.
I have lived my life as best I could, not knowing its purpose, but drawn forward like a moth to a distant moon. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. That I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding. Who are we who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? To speak across centuries? Maybe you will answer all the questions I have asked. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen.
This is why it's the most personally affecting scene, as the lives of the three characters converge in a single moment. It speaks about something we wish we could all see. In the game's menu screens, Ezio's entire life is broken down into a timeline. Every chapter along the way is clearly marked in a way we won't get in our own messy lives. Our chapters bleed into each other. We hold on to plans, memories and relationships long past the point we should let them go. Each of us is the lead character in our own story, but we're also supporting players in the stories of other people's lives. It's harder for us to recognise when it's time to leave the stage. Ezio's story truly ends in Embers, an animated short. A decade after leaving the apple and the assassins, Ezio and Sophia have a peaceful family life on a small vineyard. Ezio is trying to write a letter but struggling to find the right words. He's visited by Xiaojun, who'll become a protagonist in the Assassin's Creed Chronicles games. The franchise must be served after all. Despite his age, the training has never left him and he reluctantly helps her, serving as mentor once again.
Thank you, mentor.
Here. These may be of use one day. No. Only if you lose your way.
His death, when it comes, echoes that of Altair. But rather than being sat in the dark all alone, Ezio is outside, in warm daylight. A stranger sits alongside him. He recognises his life of violence has finally brought its inevitable reward, part of a cycle begun centuries before and destined to continue long after. By the time Sophia reaches him, he's already gone. There's no grand speech or heroic sacrifice. We're left with Ezio's final words to Sophia, his letter to her finally finished.
When I was a young man, I had liberty, but I did not see it. I had time, but I did not know it. And I had love, but I did not feel it. Many decades would pass before I understood the meaning of all three. And now, in the twilight of my life, this understanding has passed into contentment. Love, liberty, and time, once so disposable, are the fuels that drive me forward. And love, most especially, mio caro. For you, our children, our brothers and sisters, and for the vast and wonderful world that gave us life and keeps us guessing. Endless affection, mia Sofia. Forever yours, Ezio Auditore.